Hey guys, Mrs. Smecca here. In today's lesson we are going to be using the distributive property while solving equations. So this is on page 369 of your textbook. There's probably no way I can show you this very well. I'm trying to write this tiny. So if you want to follow along in your textbook, I'm going to go ahead and separate it out so that I have more room. So letter A. So the first thing you want to do is always use the distributive property to start simplifying if you see that. So remember, this means 4 times everything in the parentheses. We're going to have 4 times x and 4 times 7. Okay, so 4 times x is 4x. There's a minus in the middle, so we put a minus in the middle. 4 times 7 is 28. Then I'm just going to rewrite what I still have. Plus 12 equals 20. Okay, the first thing you want to do is see if there are any like terms that you can combine on the left or the right. So I have a negative 28 plus 12. I'm going to go ahead and simplify those together. So rewriting what I still have 4x. The negative 28 plus 12, that becomes negative or minus 16. And then I still have equals 20. Okay, now I'm going to start solving for x. Remember, I want to move both of these numbers away from the x to get the x all by itself so I can have x equals. And I always do the adding and subtracting first. 4 and x, they're together, they're like best friends. The 4 is going to be the last one to leave the party. 16 is not as close of a friend, he leaves first. So you do the opposite operation, you're going to add 16, cancel. Whatever I do to the left, I have to do to the right. I'm going to rewrite what I still have. 4x equals, and 20 plus 16 is 36. Okay, so still trying to get x by itself. It's time for the 4 to leave by doing the opposite operation. 4 times x, so the opposite would be to divide by 4. So these become 1, and they can cancel. If I divide on the left, I have to divide on the right. So then you have x equals 9, because 36 divided by 4 is 9. Okay, on to example B. I don't know why this thing always wants to do that. Okay, so we have negative 5 equals negative 3 times the quantity of x plus 11 minus 17. So the first thing I'm going to do is distribute the negative 3 through the parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite what I have. Negative 5 equals, and then negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 11 is negative 33. So make sure you write that as subtraction. And then I still have my minus 17. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms that I have on the right side. So negative 5 equals negative 3x. And then negative 33 minus 17, that's negative 50 or minus 50. Okay, so now I'm working on getting x all by itself. I have to move the minus 50 and the negative 3. So you add or subtract first. So to get rid of 50, this is a negative 50. I'm going to do the opposite operation, which would be to add 50. Those cancel. If I add 50 on one side, I have to add 50 on the other. Be careful here because we're dealing with negative numbers. A negative 5 plus 50 is 45. So 45 equals negative 3x. Okay, so you're still getting x all by itself by using the opposite operation. This is negative 3 times x, so the opposite would be to divide by negative 3. If I do it on the right, I have to do it on the left to keep myself balanced. So 45 divided by negative 3 is negative 15. X equals negative 15. Okay, let's try example C. So the first thing I need to do is use the distributive property. Okay, so 8 times x is 8x plus 8 times 6, which is 48. Then I have minus 3x equals 18. I'm going to put together my like terms. If you can notice here, I have an 8x and I have a negative 3x. Okay, 8x minus 3x, that leaves us with 2x's. Plus I still have this positive 48 equals 18. Alright, so now I'm going to solve for x by subtracting 48 on both sides. 2x equals, well, 18 minus 48 is negative 30. Okay, and then 2x, you have to divide by 2 on both sides. These cancel, and 30 divided by 2, or sorry, negative 30 divided by 2, x equals negative 15. Used all red and blue, rock chalk. Alright, example D. So here we are distributing the 1/2 through the parentheses. So you will have 5 halves minus 1/2 x, or I'm going to write it as x over 2, equals 1/4. Okay, so we have to move whatever is not with the x first. So this is a positive 5 halves, so I'm going to be subtracting 5 halves so that it cancels, and I have to subtract 5 halves on the other side. Okay, so you have negative x over 2 equals, I'm going to do this up here to the side. You have to have a common denominator. This stays 1/4. You multiply this by 2, by 2, so 10 over 4. Okay, this is going to equal negative 9 over 4. Okay, so I've kind of squished everything together here. This is the new equation that we're working with. Okay, so negative x divided by 2. The opposite would be to multiply by 2. I'm going to do it on this side, so that those cancel. So then you have to multiply this side by 2. Okay, so I have negative x equals, okay, well, we've got some cross-simplifying that will happen over here. Okay, so we end up with negative 9 over 2. Okay, negative x equals negative 9 over 2. We don't want to have a negative x, but really all that happens is if a negative x equals negative 9 halves, then a positive x equals positive 9 halves. And that is how you can leave your answer.